Before we begin the program, let everybody clap along and get into the Purim spirit. The director of the CBD, Rabbi Chaim Herzog, he has sent his apologies for not being able to come today, but due to unforeseen circumstances, he was held up in New York. But he asked that we read a letter which he wrote especially for the occasion, so I'll do so now. Dear friends, happy Purim. It is with pleasure and pride that we welcome you to Chabad of Melbourne CBD's 10th anniversary Purim in the city luncheon. Purim celebrates the miraculous turn of events as the Jewish people were on the brink of annihilation due to the intolerance of others over 2,500 years ago. At that time, Persia ruled over most of the inhabited world. One of the king's highest ministers, whose name was Haman, had an all-consuming hatred for Jews, although they posed no threat to him or anyone else. He succeeded in lobbying the king to support a campaign of genocide. Fortunately, by the grace of God and through a series of events recorded in the book of Esther, Haman's plan was foiled, and world Jewry was saved from this terrible fate. Preceding their salvation, the Jews were in utter despair. They had nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. They called out to God that He may save them, and they turned to His Torah and His commandments for solace and salvation. The miracle occurred in the merit of these Jews who in times of trouble and adversity reached out for their roots and heritage. We in Australia are now fortunate to live in an era where tolerance, democracy, and acceptance of other dominations of others dominates the arena. We can practice our Judaism freely and identify ourselves as Jewish with no fear or threat. We are therefore more free to reach for our roots and explore our heritage. For 10 years, Chabad of Melbourne CBD has provided Jews, both living and working in Melbourne CBD, to realize their Jewish identities, explore Jewish culture, and learning and promote social networking between Melbourne's Jews. We hold regular programs, lecture series, events, and services for professionals that work in the city, and after hours at home. Our lunch programs give people the opportunity to learn Torah and meet with others without having to extend work hours. And we are the first port of call for tourists coming to Melbourne looking for Jewish Melbourne. This year, being our 10th anniversary of operations in Melbourne City Centre, we'll see additional programs and events being scheduled every month. Why wait for adversity to connect with Judaism? Chabad of Melbourne CBD can provide you with opportunities to discover Judaism all close to work. We hope to welcome you at our upcoming programs, wishing you a happy Purim, signed Rabbi Chaim Herzog. Later on in the program today, we'll be doing what I'm sure most of you know about. We'll be reading the Megillah. The Megillah discusses and it goes through in detail the story of Purim from beginning to end, beginning with the feast, the famous feast of the king Ahasuerus at that time, following them the evil decrees, the evil designs of Haman, his advisor, and then finishing off with the salvation of the Jews. There's an interesting law regarding the reading of the Megillah, which is brought down in the Talmud, in the tractate of Megillah. And it says that regarding the story of Purim, the Megillah is not to be read backwards. And if one reads the story backwards, one does not fulfill his obligation, and he must read the Megillah again. Now, seemingly, what does this mean? That let's say if I start with chapter 2, I can't start with chapter 2, skip to chapter 9, go back to chapter 6, and then go to 10, go back to 1. You have to read in order. There's 10 chapters. One has to start from the beginning and go straight to the end. The Baal Shem Tov, he was the pioneer of Hasidic philosophy. He put a different twist on these words. He explains, what does it mean that one is not to read the story of Purim backwards? The story of Purim, he explains, it's not a story of over 2,000 years ago. It's a story and has lessons for our day-to-day lives now. Like every single festival and every single Jewish custom, it's not about the past, but it's rather about the present and the future. How do we propel ourselves to the future? That's through looking at the past. But it's not about the past. It's about now and the future. So what is Purim that we can take a lesson to ourselves and apply that to our day-to-day lives? So it's an interesting thing. If we look throughout the whole Megillah, we will not find God's name mentioned even once. Not once in the whole Megillah. The Megillah is considered one of the 24 holy books of Judaism. And in all the other 24 books, God's name is mentioned countless of times. Nevertheless, when it comes to the Megillah, God's name is not mentioned. Now, it's quite strange. Firstly, the time of Purim was, as explained, was the worst decree of destruction ever decreed against the Jews in history. It was the time when there was one king over the world at that time, and if he decreed that all Jews should be killed, there was no Jews to write to. They didn't know that Australia existed at that time. They didn't know of America at that time. All inhabited parts of the world the king was the king at that time. And so therefore, this was the worst decree of all times. And there's another strange thing, that the festival of Purim is explained, it's the greatest and most joyous festival of all the Jewish festivals. Even greater than the festival everybody knows about, Yom Kippur. Everybody comes to Shul on that day. It's explained that Purim is even greater, is even more joyous than the festival of Yom Kippur. So it seems very strange that in the whole Megillah, the whole story of Purim, we don't mention God's name even once. We find with the story of Purim that when the Mordechai and Esther, they found out about this evil decree, what did they do? The first thing they did, and Esther, we know, was the wife of the king, and the Mordechai was one of the high ministers in the palace, the King Ahasuerus' palace. The first thing they did, you might think they might organize delegations, meetings, programs.